Hi, in this video, I will share with you some of the insights on how to change or create a new habit. These insights I found from reading the book Power of Habit. So now let's take a look at our day-to-day example of a simple habit. A habit is an acquired or a recurrent behavior, nearly involuntary. We do this every day. An example being brushing our teeth. So when we wake up, the first thing we do is we brush our teeth. And we do that primarily so that we feel good, that our teeth are clean, and we just do this every day habitually. We don't have to remember ourselves. We don't have to exert our brains to do this. But as we saw in the last video, there is a cue, there is a routine, and there is a reward here. The cue is waking up, routine is brushing. As soon as we wake up, we generally brush our teeth. And the reward is just the sense of cleaning, the physical tingling sensation in our mouth that we feel as part of brushing our teeth. So what's the formula for creating a new habit? It comes down to two words: latching and rewarding. Latching to existing habits like brushing your teeth, and rewarding yourself once you have actually done a new routine. So now let's go through the example again. You woke up, you brushed your teeth, you felt good. Now, what if, as soon as this happened, this feeling, the physical feeling of feeling good, you latch on to that daily routine or daily cue of feeling good and add to it exercise. You decide that as soon as I feel good, I'm going to exercise. And that's the new routine that I'm going to add to exercise, and I'm going to check how many days in a week I have exercised. As soon as I have exercised, I check on that day that I exercised. And the reward that I'm getting here is I'm setting a goal for myself. Maybe I'm setting a goal that says I want to exercise 3 days a week and I want to be fit. And when we do this thing, we latch on to existing habits of our day-to-day habits, and we add a new routine. We give ourselves a reward of hitting our goals, and maybe at the end of the goal, we celebrate. We celebrate in the ways that we like. Everyone has a different reward that they'd like to give themselves. Someone would like to give themselves a treat to a restaurant. Someone would like to give themselves daily rewards. Ideally, if you can find a daily reward, like checking a list of things that you want to accomplish for the day, or sharing publicly that you have exercised today with your close friends of people who are exercising together, that helps. So two key things. You use an existing habit of brushing your teeth, just an example, and you put on your shoes, you go to exercise, and then you put a check mark that says you've accomplished a new goal for the day. This latching to existing habit and rewarding yourself in some way by a smoothie or some great breakfast is a good way of starting a new habit. And when you have done that, you've started a new routine. And when you do that repeatedly over time your brain automates this. And the good feeling that you get out of exercise, you cannot live without it. Your brain will crave for it. So you will anticipate going for exercise. The first 15-20 days is when you have to use your willpower to do this, but you can do this using existing habits and rewarding yourself so that the motivation stays. So those were the two key things: latching to existing habits to start a new habit, and rewarding yourself on a day-to-day basis. So let's recap. 4 steps is to identify this whole process. The author calls this awareness training, wherein you keep log of what happened in your current routine, what were the triggers, what were the cues, what were the routines that you follow on a day-to-day basis, and what were the rewards that you gave yourself. And you do that for the whole day. Now you're aware of your habits. Once you're aware of your existing habit loops, you identify the cues that you want to latch onto. Typically, those cues are 5 types. Location cues, you're at some place at some point, either at home, in bed, outside, at some point in time, some emotion that happens, you're near someone, with someone, some set of actions that happen. When these cues happen, you identify those cues that you want to latch onto. And then you come up with a new reward system, either using an existing reward or a new reward. And the author says keep the rewards and the cues the same. I feel that you can also experiment with adding a new reward that you're looking for, and then creating an intention plan, like previously we saw exercise, right? That is a new intention plan, and then a new reward system that eventually you do that over and over, that the brain just craves for it, and then it becomes part of your habit. If you want to replace an existing habit, then the author strongly recommends that you strongly suggests that cue and rewards need to be same. You can change the routine if you want to substitute or replace an existing habit. So we looked at a simple cue today in this video, which was about waking up. That's a physical cue. It's a body level cue, waking up, exercising, taking your breakfast, brushing your teeth, etc. It's a physical routine that you do. Similarly, we have many other emotional routines. Sometimes the place where we go to shop has an emotional attachment towards it. So thinking about those emotional routines and things like socializing with people, etc., could be emotional cues. Similarly, there could be intellectual cues, like learning a new skill. How do you learn? Who do you learn with, etc. So there are many types of triggers and many types of cues that you can latch on to, and just starting with your awareness, like building the awareness of what you do, why you do, what are the triggers for you, what are the routines you follow, and what are the rewards that you give yourself, will help you understand what you do, and then eventually you can change it. So the first step is to understand what you do by awareness training that was brought up in this video, and latching on and then rewarding yourself with new habits. There are some tips. Remember, changing habits is not easy. It takes time. Everyone has their own unique path and timeline in which how long it takes for them. So give yourself enough time. Stay at it. And then remember, the cue needs to be very simple. Ideally, it needs to be a daily cue so that you don't have to remember to do one more thing. So use something that's daily, and then always reward yourself. And then repetition, consistently using your willpower for a few days, maybe 20, 21 days, will help you build that craving in your brain, which would be helpful because at time it will be automated. After the craving is built up, your brain will anticipate exercise, or your brain will anticipate your new routine. So do that consistently, let's say over 21 days, 3 weeks, and then it becomes automatic. If you do it with a group, and if you have a shared experience, it helps even more. And substitution of existing habit is easier than adding a new habit, but I think it's the same. And start with smaller habits, smaller wins, things that you can build up on. And visualize those wins. It helps you even more. In the book, the author has given an example of Michael Phelps. Like before he does his swimming competition, he visualizes. He already visualizes that he's done a perfect round, that he's already won. And when he does that, when he actually wins, when he's actually doing it, he does it the best because he's already practiced it so much physically and also mentally. And when he wins, it's a natural extension of what he's already had. He's already won. So his brain is already wired to win. So visualizing some of the new things that you wish to accomplish in your new habit helps. And start with smaller wins. Don't take a pretty big one. So once you build on those small wins, you can take on bigger and bigger things. Remember, you have a finite willpower, which you can expand. It's a muscle that you can build, and you can constantly get better at it. But it's highest, I feel, for me in the early morning. So use that time to create new ones. Again, thank you very much. So hopefully this video was helpful on sharing some insights on creating new habits. The two big ideas are latching to existing habits, rewarding yourself, and using some of the tips to get better. Good luck.